Johnny B. Carter. We're here with you today, speaking further on professional dreaming. You know, it's a lot of times I get the question, exactly what is professional dreaming, and just want to take something into consideration that when we talking about fulfilling our dreams and taking our thoughts or fantasies and transition them into our daily reality, it's something called work that's involved with that. And even though we can have an idea of where we're going, it doesn't always mean that it's an easy path, to the finish line. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. What is necessary to be a professional dreamer? Well, the first thing, it starts with your mindset. It starts with your thinking, okay? Because a lot of us, until we slow down and think about it, we're operating with preconditioned thinking that we've had this over the years a lot of times. And a lot of times, what else do we know except for what we were taught? And a lot of times our parents or grandparents or whoever raised us taught us based on what they were taught. So if you got good information, 3 or 4 generations down, you did well. And if you didn't get information that was the best that was available, you work with what you had, but what can you do about it? Okay, so when you become of age, whether it be for the better or for the worse, it's now up to you to decide, what path you're going to go down and what you're going to do based on what you decided is right. And a lot of us don't always have the best start, but as you know, where we start does not have to be where we finish, okay? So dealing with our mindset, the first thing we have to do is just accept the fact that however I grew up, whatever I've gone through, good or bad, today it's up to me to decide what do I need to do to put myself in a position to where the thoughts that I'm thinking, the words that I'm speaking, the actions that I'm taking, the energy that I'm operating in, today I have to take responsibility for that. And whatever I find in my thinking, in my speaking, in my daily actions that's not consistent with where I want to go, I have to simply make those adjustments. Now we understand that simple isn't always easy, but the reality of it is that if you think of anyone that actually accomplishes anything of substance, it's oftentimes a path of difficulty. It's oftentimes a path that is filled with adversity, because like when I was growing up, the old people would always say, you don't appreciate anything that you don't have to work for. If it come easy, it leave the same way. We hearing these things our whole life, and it's a lot of truth to those statements. So when it comes down to it, I have to challenge myself, because some things we do out of habit. We know it's ineffective. We know it isn't getting us the results that we desire, but it's easier to do something that I'm comfortable with, because I know what's going to happen. I'm familiar with that, than to do what's uncomfortable and enter over into the unfamiliar. And so at the end of the day, it is a process of me saying, okay, if I want something different, I'm going to have to do something different. And it can be scary. And I have to take ownership of the fact that although this can be terrifying, although this can be something that's not what I'm typically used to doing, but the lifestyle that I desire and that I'm dreaming and fantasizing about is not something that I'm used to either. That's not typical for me, but I know it's possible. So I have to begin to adjust my thinking, adjust my habits, adjust the things that I'm choosing to do in order to get where I desire to be. Okay, so dealing with our mindset, even when we start, we made up our mind. Okay, I'm gonna think differently. Now we have to deal with the fact that life is not going to care about this new decision that you made. Making up your mind that you're going to think better, you're going to do better, I'm going to eat better, I'm going on a totally different path. guess what? That doesn't change the restaurants. That doesn't change the advertisement. Bills don't go away. Responsibilities don't change. All of those things still exist. Okay, so that's why you see, a lot of times we go to a meeting and we have a great time, and we hear that guru that we've been listening to on TV or on the internet for years, and we're finally seeing them in person. And then we get there and find out, oh, wait a minute, there was no magic potion. I don't just tap dance 3 times and do a cartwheel and everything's okay. You mean I actually have to participate in this process? Oh, well, wait a minute. And oftentimes we go back and we pick up the very habits that we know have been getting us the results that we're not satisfied with. Because at the end of the day, anyone that tells you that you're going to get some different results without having to adjust your thinking, without having to be willing to deal with challenges and obstacles that come as a result of life. What can go wrong will go wrong. Sometimes it seems that none of us can get around that, but it's not about what happens to us, it's the way we respond to it. And once again, that goes back to your mindset, because your mind has to be concrete. It's called having dominant thoughts. It's called having a burning desire, putting yourself into a position to where, your mind is totally made up. I don't care what goes on. I don't care what comes my way. This is the way I'm going to think. This is the way I'm going to operate. Not because it's the easiest path, but it is the path that is going to get me where I desire to be. And ladies and gentlemen, that is an internal fight. It's not a physical fight. It has to start on the inside, because once I've made my mind up and I've decided what I'm going to do, nothing outside of me can shake me out of that position. Okay? So, the next thing we need to do as we begin to take responsibility with our mindset, we have to begin to put ourselves in a different circle sometimes. Okay? If you've been dealing with the same people for years, you may come to a place to where you realize, I don't have to dislike these people. I don't even have to disown these people. But what I have to do is I have to start establishing some new relationships. I have to start opening myself up to being in a position to get around individuals that are where I desire to be. And that's not very difficult. There's clubs that I can join. There's different activities that I can involve myself in. And reality is that birds of a feather truly do flock together. Individuals who are thinking the same and are having the same type of desires, good or bad, they have a tendency of finding their way to one another. So we have to begin to put ourselves in a position to be around like-minded individuals. And it doesn't always mean that these individuals are where they desire to be, but maybe they're thinking the right way. Maybe they're in the same boat that you are if you're on the lower end of the spectrum, to where financially anyway, to where your hopes and dreams are just that right now, and you're looking for tangible ways to begin to realize how to bring those desires into your daily life. You want to begin to connect with other dreamers, other dreamers that are reducing their dreams to paper. They specified plans. How am I going to accomplish what it is that I desire to accomplish? What time frame am I going to do it in? How exactly am I going to go about doing this? People that are thinking that way. Because if I don't have a plan, then I don't have anything to act on in the first place. So maybe you're further along. Maybe you're already successful, but your time is restricted. You've done the hard work, you dug your nails in deep, and you're generating income at a high level, but now you're a slave to your business. You don't know how to pull yourself out. What type of people have pulled themselves out? What type of businesses are they doing? How are they thinking? How are they going about conducting themselves? Did you realize that there's a difference between being self-employed and being a business owner? Different thought processes you're able to connect with when you begin to put yourself around a body of individuals that are where you desire to be, or at least are thinking the way you know you have to think to elevate yourself. Because let's face it, if I'm going to get in shape, I'm going to have to think differently than someone who doesn't have a mind to be in shape. Okay? It's going to affect what I choose to snack on. I still have to eat, but it's the way I eat. Probably still going to snack, but it's the way I snack. Okay? And so, once again, when it comes down to the people that I'm connecting myself to and who I have myself around, it has a lot to do with my ability to, maintain in any given area. Because at the end of the day, we are affected by the individuals that we spend the most of our time with. And the challenge is that you make your mind up and decide what you're going to do. And a lot of times your immediate circle is not always ready to make those adjustments. And so it's like, what do? So at the end of the day, when your peer group sees you begin to grow, a couple things that can happen. Some can see what you're doing. That can wake something up on the inside of them, and they begin to take the plunge as well. They begin to say, you know what, I think I will start to eat a little differently. You know what, I think I will start to exercise a little more, get a little more rest. You know what, I think I will start spending some time thinking and clearing out my thoughts and meditating on what exactly it is I desire to do and how I'm going to do it, or how I can resolve these issues that continue to arise and continue to trouble me. What I'm going to do about that? How can I put myself in a position to maximize my income while at the same time having time to enjoy that income that I maximize? What is it that I need to be doing? Okay, and I want to say it once again, your thinking is the primary step. Another key ingredient is your peer group, the types of company that you're keeping. Another thing that's very important as we move forward, establishing ourselves as professional dreamers, is my self-talk. This is going to be very important. What type of communication am I having with myself when things don't go my way? Okay, when I'm faced with that pitfall, when I find myself struggling with the familiar area, what am I saying to myself? How am I treating myself? What am I believing about myself when I'm under pressure? Am I only a fan when I'm conversing and talking with myself or with others about what I'm going to do, but then I begin to work against myself with self-doubt and negative thoughts and, paralyzing emotions towards my own desires and ambition? Am I doing that to myself? Am I a fair weather dreamer, where when I step over into the impossible and I begin to believe that it's just that, this is impossible, how could I ever do this thing? Am I defeating myself before I can ever get started? Or am I having a hopeful mindset? Am I operating with faith regardless of the situation or the circumstance? It doesn't look bright, but I'm going to find a way, and it's not over until I win. I'm not going to give up, cave in, or quit until I accomplish what it is that I set out to accomplish. What is it exactly are you saying to yourself, on a daily basis? And consider what you've been saying to yourself over the years. And I truly believe if you slow down and think about it, your reality today has a lot to do with the conversations that you've been having with yourself for quite some time now. And whether those conversations are good or bad, the areas where I'm not where I desire to be, what are my conversations with myself like in those areas compared to the areas where I excel? And I'm very confident if you begin to explore and do parallels, the areas where you're thriving, it's a lot more positive self-talk, it's a lot more encouragement, it's a lot more building yourself up, as opposed to the areas where you struggle and feel defeated. It's a lot more tearing down, a lot more discouragement, and we have to be very careful of our communication, because as I say all the time, your voice is the loudest voice that you hear, and so that has to be a voice of soundness, a voice that speaks life to your desires, speaks life to your ambition. Okay? So we're going to continue to speak with you further on this. We're going to wrap it up for today. But always remember, the limit is unlimited. PBGmindset.com, and we will be speaking with you soon.